What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Savage Lands. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today where it's time for us to relocate. I think we need to find ourselves a new home, and from this location, I've been having trouble striking out and going, well, I have been striking out, actually. I suppose if we wanted to put this in baseball terms, that's exactly what I've been doing. But honestly, I want a location that's going to be a little bit easier, I suppose, and more readily available for travel, something a little bit further inland so that we can farm up furs a little bit better. But before we do that, there are things that I wanted to show you in today's episode. So let's take some time. We're going to head on up into the village, and I do have a surprise for all of you. This is typically not something that I do with my series. I would most of the time attempt to do this kind of stuff on camera, but I felt like in the case of this series, it would probably be best for me to spend the weekend working on it, and I did. And so, this is the culmination of probably 4 or 5 hours worth of work over the weekend. I just put on things like Sons of Anarchy and like random documentaries and just like worked on stuff in here. And I think you're going to like it. I think, there's a blizzard coming in. So the developers put in like these little snowstorms that make your coldness meter go down faster. The unfortunate side of this is that it always seems to be like blizzarding. I would say about 60% of the time it's blizzarding. And so, honestly, keeping your cold meter up becomes a little bit more difficult. You remember the last episode? Well, actually, no, never mind. I died way down the beach that way. And then I went to go get my stuff, and it was gone. I think it's because I closed the game down and I came back. And so, honestly, part of the reason I played over the weekend was to regain all the stuff that we had. So I have bags, I have lots of loot, my body is naked, and I'm wearing just boots because obviously we can't have our lovely little pedicles in contact with the snowy ground. That would be totally and completely unpleasant. Totes unpleasant, as the kids would say. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. Let's have a look at the thing that I was working on this weekend. And so, having recovered most of the stuff we have, why we're naked, by the way, I don't know. Your character doesn't spawn with, like, basic clothes anymore. He spawns in his underwear, so no idea right there. I don't know if it's going to be light enough for us to see over here just yet, but I will show you, and yeah, you probably just caught a glimpse of it right there. It's going to be like Christmas up in there in just a second. So anyways, let me make a torch real fast. Oh, shit. Okay, so we got like a bar guest or something over here. I don't know. I found that actually circle strafing is the best way to avoid fighting every mob in the game. Like, they don't know what to do when you circle strafe. Like, seriously. It's only the wolves, though. Everything else, like, the little skeletal guys will still hit you. But anything that uses the wolf animation, you can just, like, circle step around it. You will also note that because we couldn't get our stuff back, we don't have our skull mace anymore. I only really need that. I don't know what the rotted meat is for, but I have a lot of it so far. It's a bright and wonderful morning. So as I've walked around the game, let's talk about some of my observations here while I kind of just like go through. I'm trying to organize things. I don't know if that's something people are interested in, but like I've been going out of my way to like organize our inventory. I hear something on my right hand side, and I'm hoping it's not something vicious that's trying to kill me. All of this stuff over here is just the stuff that has like spawned in the village over the last little bit, and the reason why we're relocating over to this area is actually partially because of that. It makes it just easier so that I'm not walking 5 minutes every, you know, hour or two to respawn or grab all the respawns that are here in the village. Makes my life a little bit easier when it comes to clutching the loots. What are you doing over here, man? You're limping around. You're making our society just look bad. Hey, yeah, you see, the sidestepping doesn't really work on them. You're better off just kind of like standing still and getting hit, I think. Were you like a tougher version? You know, fall down and die or something? There's a sound effect now when you hit enemies. That's a plus. That didn't used to be there. So now that we've gotten ourselves a nice little health chunk gone, and our boots are going to be broken because the gear breaks stupidly fast in this game. Like, seriously, the gear breaks after like 5 hits. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Like, you could spend all day farming for some chainmail, and I promise you it's going to break on like the second hit from an enemy. It's ridiculous. It needs to be like moved around, because as of right now, there's really no point to actually use any of the gear in the game because it breaks so quickly that you can't rely on it anyways. Alright, so now that we got the sun coming up, we got a little bit more light. I'm going to touch this up in post. Hold on here. Let me get my health back by eating some deer steaks, because everybody knows that's how biology works. You eat food, and then you heal actively like Wolverine. Just like this right here. You see that? You see my wounds closing? This is how it works in the natural world. Welcome to Science. So I farmed up a lot of logs. Like, we have probably a good 50, 60 logs in here. I don't know. Somebody will probably count them on camera, but it's okay. I chopped a lot of trees while waiting for the nighttime, and I think the nighttime is actually something that needs to be fixed now as well. So nighttime within the confines of this game sort of blows, because there's like nothing you can do with it. You kind of just like sit next to your fire all night, because your coldness goes up too fast for you to actually accomplish anything, while simultaneously there's no way for you to sleep through the night either. And so nighttime right now leaves a lot of time for tree chopping, and that's exactly what I did. But I had said in the next episode that I wanted to play around with the building system before we did anything else, before we started exploring and running around. I know that like there's not a whole lot in the game right now to look at, and so we probably only have a couple of episodes left. I just wanted to get this ready for the release so that when it came out, people would know what they were signing up for and what they were getting in for. But first things first, I wish you could relight campfires, but we need to light a new campfire. So let me go to my tool pile over here. That's right, jump back on. Oh, there's another skelly over there. Oh, man. Why are there so many skellies around here right now? That's upsetting. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't like you at all. Because you get, like, free hits on me, and it makes me sad. Maybe I'm just, like, too close. It looks like the hitboxes are a little generous. Like, I feel like I'm way too far away right now when I fight these things. The corpses do disappear. The developer listened to that. On the forums, people said that, like, the corpses didn't disappear and it would lag their games out. The developer went through and patched that in, like, the next day. I mean, he is listening to stuff and he is working on stuff. It's just, like, I think he has his hands full at the moment with, like, a lot of random stuff. This is a big project for someone to work on. So, anyways... As of right now, what we need to do is we need to build another campfire. In deciding where we are going to put the campfire, I don't really know. But first things first, let's press the J key here, and then we'll go on over to our building menu. We need 6 stones, 3 logs, and 2 flint. Okay, so we'll grab a couple logs. It was just the... How much was it? It was 3. I was going to say, was it 2 or was it 3? This is how bad my memory is. I can't even hang in there for a minuscule amount of seconds before I've forgotten what I'm working on. It'll all be okay, though. It's a little bit dim right now because... I don't know, we're overcast. I think they added a new overcast cloud thing that was not here before. Because I've noticed, like, the last... this morning, anyways, when I was doing my test runs, they're adding stuff and all... Ooh, green apples. Yes, please. It's not Granny Smith apples, by the way. It's something sweet apples, and I can't remember what it is. I talked about that in a previous... I think the flint is all in here. Here's all my stone and all my flint piles, and here's my food pile right here. So you can get a feel for just, like, what I've been doing off camera. This is how much flint we have. Like, this is how much stone we have. We have an absurd amount of stuff. Over here, I have just, like, the pile of body parts and, like, random stuff that really doesn't seem to have a whole lot of uses. It'll probably work out later. We got boar's tusks. We got all kinds of animal furs and things. Sticks don't go in that pile, though. We'll throw some skulls over here just to make the pile a little bit bigger. It sounds as though there's some kind of elk orgy occurring outside of my eye line. It's making me a little bit nervous, but it's okay. If the eye line isn't good enough, I'll go with the O line. We got that right there. Okay. By the way, don't call an O-line. It might make your wife mad. Let's go right there. Just a little pro tip in life. Little pro tip in life so that you can mull that over. Alright, so we need a campfire. I'm figuring we build a campfire, like, right in front of the most bitchingest house. Ooh, yeah, there's, like, a big old run of the deers going on over here. I'm going to have to hunt a little bit before we could do anything else. Let me... what did I... Oh, I needed 6 stones, and I don't have stones. Oh, my God. I feel like such a dunce right now. Then again, when you run with that animation right there, it's hard not to feel like a dunce a lot of the time. Alright, back in we go. Back in we go. We gotta handle stones. There we go. We got a couple piles of stones. Where do I want this? This is a really, really sort of weird feeling right now. Because it should be morning. Like, you notice that our cold meter is not going down. Like, we're not actively getting cold very quickly. But at the same time, it feels like it's really, really cold right now. I figure I'll probably put the fire, like, right here in front of this longhouse or something. I don't know. Maybe I should put it in front of the forge, since that's where I might be working in the future. And weirdly enough, the forge does not give you warmth. You can't stand next to this and get warmth. There are other villages, and so I've wandered around. I wanted to talk about that briefly so you know what kind of content is in the game. The answer to that question is not really that much. Oop, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Like, there's not a whole lot to do in-game right now. So if you're looking for, like, a real content density, I would strongly recommend probably waiting... Oh, give it a month or 2 after release and kind of just see what the patching schedule looks like. Because the game is at the point where all the fundamental mechanics are pretty much working. They just need to add more stuff to do and then clean up some of the stuff that's here. And so they need to lower some of the costs of making armor, especially if it's going to break so fast. Like, there's a lot of little foibles and problems with the game right now that I think will get fixed over time. It's just that for right now, they haven't been fixed yet because I'm sure that it's overwhelming creating a game, especially for the Steam audience. But anyways... We've got a whole bunch of ore over here. This is the culmination of 8 hammers worth of mining. This is all that we have. We have 1 high quality metal. We have like 8 or 9 medium quality metal and a bunch of low quality metal. It was rough. It was rough. It took a really, really long time. I clicked on that thing. Oh, it's in my inventory right now. It took a while, and this was actually going after the veins that have the blue stuff all over them. There are different rocks, and I'll try and show them to you while we're running around today. I don't really know what our goal is. Is that a boar over there? What is that? I think that's a boar. We may go boar hunting. Hold on. The boar is fairly easy to kill, and it runs off the exact same animation as the wolf does. And so he's kind of just like a victim waiting to happen. Go ahead, deer. You can run away. I'm not worried about you. I want this pig out here, though. I also haven't found... We might need to get ourselves a torch or something. I'm going to try not to get gored right now. Don't do this in real life. Your chances of killing a pig with, like, a club with a stick on the end of it, like Caveman Craig, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work out for you. Don't even entertain the thought for a second. It's not going to work. Just boars are probably one of the most amazing evolutionary survivors in nature. Like, they're almost unkillable. Like, they're not susceptible to disease. They're not susceptible to being shot. They're not susceptible to, like, they live a long-ass time. They destroy everything. Like, pretty much, they're like little miniature, adorable, furry wrecking balls that just run through nature, destroying everything. And so here's our new home. The reason we're setting up over here is because it gives me better storage. That's the first thing, is that I got tired of having, like, big piles of bullshit all over the place. Like, that was the biggest reason, is I didn't like the way that I came home to my base and there was just stuff lying everywhere. It reminded me too much of home, and I just can't deal with that right now. The other reason is because... let's see, I was constantly running up here anyways to get the loot that respawns out of the buildings. I think the game is going to function like H1Z1 or DayZ later on, where people can be running around killing each other. I wish it were not the case, and I hope that that does not happen, because I think there are enough deathmatch simulators out there. There's enough deathmatch survival simulators out there. We don't need a few more. Like, I think that industry is done. Like, it doesn't need any new entries right now. You should just let the ones that are working on stuff continue to work on it, and then just kind of like move on to something else. I would be absolutely fast. I like games like The Long Dark, where it's a single-player survival game that you really have to be cerebral about, and you have to think about your resource management, kind of go through things logically. And I was hoping that this game would kind of be like that, mixed with Skyrim, so that if you wanted to fight dragons or do whatever it is that you want to do in a fantasy world, you could still do that while still having the fundamental tenets of survivalism going on. It was things that I thought would be enjoyable. Now, I think what we should probably do, maybe a little bit of exploration. I don't know this area very well. Like, I know exactly how to get back down to the beach and how to get to the campfire down there. There's a campfire way the hell down the beach down that way that I used to mark another village. It's identical to this one, like, in every way, sort of. It's a little bit more spread out, but it's essentially just like a loot farming location as per normal. I don't know if there's any real reason to spend like 25 minutes running out there, because it's seriously like that far away, and I would have to do a cutaway in order to do it, and it's just like, some decayed flesh. Sure, let's pick that up. It's weird, like the contrast that we're holding right now in game. I think I might want to make a torch or something. How do I make a dim? We'll make a good one here. We've got cloth. We need 2 flint. Well, hell, there's a flint right there. Is there a flint over here? I would love an extra flint. Anybody got a flint? Some amber. No, we don't need that right there. No, thank you. Let me go back to the campfire over here. We'll grab ourselves a torch, because I don't know, this overcast is making it hard for me to see. It's kind of stark. It's very, very stark. Oh, we don't have any... I know you didn't just try and attack me. I know your fundamental weakness. Circle... Ah, we're bleeding. Damn it. Okay, so we're going to have to make a band-aid in just a second. That is unpleasant, but it is to be dealt with. Unfortunately, it's very, very difficult to make it through fights with wolves without getting bit at least like once. I guess that makes sense. Wolves seem like they'd be pretty strong contenders for ass-kickings. Let's go for a basic bandage real fast and see if that'll fix it up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Depends how bad the bleeding is. I think there are multiple... Okay, so it got that one. There are multiple stages of bleeding, but they're not really denoted in any real sense. So, for example, if you get bit like 2 or 3 times, it upgrades your bleeding to like a new level that you're not used to. And you have to use the frost... I don't know, whatever. You have to use the plant. You have to use this one right here. What do they call frost fern bandages? Which are a lot harder to get your hands on, but they do take care of it. And they also like give you a little bit of health back, so it's not so bad. Either way, though, let's build a torch real quick, and we'll keep that up and running right now so that we can see what's in these buildings. We'll check out the buildings once we've made sure that we've got all the loot, because before you leave each time, you should really strongly consider grabbing all the loot out of the buildings, because it won't respawn until you loot it. And so just grab it, get all the stuff on out of these little buildings, and then once you've gotten that taken care of, let's go back. I'm going to go to the dragon tower over here. I'm going to use it as a navigational source from here on out, at least until I can't see it any longer. Just to kind of give us, well, a chance to find our bearings, I suppose. They're rolling around, they're rattling, they're making all kinds of noise on the shop floor. We don't even have a shop vac anymore. How long does this last, by the way? I'm going to put it away for a second since we're exploring. We're not up in buildings, and I just want to save it. Well, watch out for the dragon. I actually don't think the dragon will attack you. It's a thing that I have observed. I don't think the dragon will actually bother you. I walked around the bottom of this thing for like 5 minutes while the dragon was actively up there. I just came over with an empty inventory and like a stick to fight wolves with, and nothing happened. It was all perfectly fine. Everything worked out great. And so in that case, I actually don't even know if the dragon is active right now, like if it'll bother you or if it'll come down and kill you. I would have to go watch somebody else's LP, or maybe we'll taunt it down in a little bit later. We don't have ranged weapons, first and foremost, and that's a pretty high shot anyways, even for a bow. You have to put that one way up in the air. The reason I'm coming over here is to check and see if maybe the skeletal mace has respawned, because I want another one. And unfortunately, I ran out of it when I was killing stuff. It finally broke, and I'm left with no awesome weapon now. Alright, well, it doesn't look like it's here. I'm going to make my time by going towards the sun. I'm going to use the sun as kind of like our way marker for right now. Our way marker. If you were trying to be more surfy about it. Way, dude. Way. You want to go down to Tilly's and buy some shirts, dude? Like, it's just like, that's the way that I'm talking about here. And so, obviously, we may not accomplish anything out here. This is going to be like a short little jaunt. Oh, there's a dragon over there, and he's coming in hot. This might not end well for us. Well, he's certainly threatening looking, although his head looks a little big for his body, but don't tell him I said that. Don't tell him I said that. He looks like he might be slightly threatening and also prone to violence, so. While we're out here, I can't decide if it's worth it for me to, like, beat up deer while we run around. We do have a lot of food, and I'm not really super interested in running out anytime soon. However, let's take a look here. As long as I can still see the sun. I don't know. The landscape is sort of empty in this game. It's very, very difficult to find anything while you're running around. I've done quite a bit of exploration. The one thing that's led me to notice is that the map needs to be populated a little bit. I don't know if they're working on fundamental gameplay elements right now or what's going on right there. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we're going to get this. We might. I mean, if we get really lucky, but we've got an inferior weapon right now, so it might not be the best, like, selection of choices. It may not be. It may not be. On my Super Nintendo front, I finally got a Super Nintendo, and I'm really, really happy with it. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm pretty stoked. I want to say that I'm overly stoked, but I have been trying to sneak in, like, hours and hours and hours to play it. It hasn't worked very well. One of the weird things about being an adult is that, like, when you get new toys, your actual time to, like, play around with them seems to be much more limited than you originally expected. You'd be like, well, damn, I thought I was going to have all day to do this, and I barely got to, like, the 3rd level in Mega Man X. But yeah, I've been having a good time with it. I've been playing Mega Man X more than anything else just because it's a game with tremendous nostalgic value to me, and I've been playing the hell out of it. However, that is not to say that it's the only game that I'm playing right now on my Super Nintendo. But yeah, I'm getting ready. I basically tapped out my paycheck just like buying random like accessories and stuff for my Sega Genesis and my Super Nintendo. And then I'm getting I have like, it's not a game room, I guess. That would be like a stupid word for it, because that's not what it is. But basically I was getting my den all set up, my man cave, so that I have like all the systems on like a rack now, and they're all hooked into the same TV so that I can flip through and play whatever system I want with the remote. And like I was just getting things set up this week, and like all the random like little gadgetries and things that you needed. It nickel and dimes you. It's bad. You're like, oh, it's only an $8 cable. And then by the time you get the entire room done, you realize you've bought like 15 cables and like a bunch of other random stuff. You're like, well, I feel like I could have planned this better, or maybe got like splitters or something. There's a wolf over here. Let's go ahead and fight him. The white wolves are a lot more vicious than the black ones. They do a lot more damage. They've got a lot more health, and they cause you to bleed more frequently, as far as I know. Every single mob has been adjusted right now. They all drop sinews at this point. So if you've been having trouble getting sinews, I don't know how that would be, because the game hasn't released yet. But if you're like me and you got the game a little bit early, I think it comes out 2 or 3 days from now. 2 or 3 days from now. I think March 7th, maybe. Anyways, I don't see anything down the beach this way, and I don't want to put my life at risk by... Where did the sun go? Okay, so that means that presumably we know that the beach is on our left. We're doing a pretty good job of combing everything right now, but the biggest problem with the game as it stands at the moment is that all the interesting stuff is up on the beach, and like there's not really much you can do about that. There's a fort out here somewhere that I made it to one time, but I didn't explore it because I didn't want to do it off camera. Like I wanted it to be fresh when we could find, but then I lost it. Like, I found a fort, and then I lost it. How does one lose a fort? I don't know. I lost a fort, though. I lost a fort. It's kind of like losing the plot, but losing the fort and the plot that it was built on top of. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to... Dane tried to get me right there. Dane, my recording hiccup, tried to get me. Let's talk about rocks, huh? Let's talk about rocks for a second. I think... Now, depending on what this deer does... Ah, damn it, it ran the... Yeah, turn around, deer. Turn around. See, it's hard. We don't have a good weapon right now to take these deer out with. And so, unfortunately, since we're not packing like a 30-06 or anything, it can actually be sort of cumbersome to chase these little bastards down. And that one's got 1 hit left on it on the left, so we'll go ahead and chase. I can't wait till ranged weapons are put into the game. I can't express that enough. Like, running around chasing a deer is not something that I fancy very much, especially since they just stop like 3 feet later anyways, and then you don't even have to deal with them. It looks like we got a blizzard coming in. It might be a good idea for us to head back to shelter. So, since the blizzard is here, what's going to happen in this case, our warmth meter is going to drop off really, really fast. Like, it is going to drop super quick. And so I'm going to make my way back to a camp, and we're going to try and ride this blizzard out for right now. I think that for the time being, however, we'll look at rocks on the way back. That's how we'll fix it, so that people can know what they're supposed to be mining if they're trying to get high and medium quality ore. Even though my luck has been very, very bad with it, so this is not the rock that you want, I don't think. It's got like blue veiny things on it. Those are the good rocks. Those are the ones that drop the high and medium so that you can get yourself some really, really cool loot. I believe... Where's the sun at? Sun, where are you? Oh, you're up there. You're actually like up above me. That makes your use as a directional finding source not actually quite so cogent. Alright, well I'm going to try and hustle my way back before we freeze to death again, because that's actually been the #1 cause of death for me, is just freezing to death. I don't know. When it's not nighttime, it's constantly blizzarding. Like, they need to bring the severity of the temperature, not like... It's a hard thing to say because, honestly, you're trying to balance a video game right now, which is the really, really difficult part. You're not trying to make it, like, realistic survival, you know what I mean? You're trying to, like, balance a video game and make it fun at the same time. And so, frankly, like, you're constantly running out of cold in this game. Like, constantly. You're running out of your cold meter all the time. You can't get anything done. And the armor that you build, it breaks, like, instantaneously when it gets hit. And so, even if that helps you offset the cold, it breaks so quickly from the random monsters that you're fighting and things like that, that it can really sort of just be a pain in the ass to get anything finished off. I think going back this way is my best decision right now. Although I will point out... Oh, we have a lot of meat on us, but no way to cook it. I don't know if the torch will help. Maybe it will. It might. This is kind of a waste of our time, though, now that this is coming in. There we go. I don't think it helps. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it actually pretty much does exactly what you would think it would do, which is illuminate. It doesn't really accomplish anything else. So if we're going to die, my goal would be to die down by the beach so that I can find my body again and recover my stuff. And so that's what I'm going to try and do. We may be a little bit far, but... I think we can make it before our health runs out. But yeah, they need to tailor the cold system. It's too much right now. Between the blizzards and the nighttime, like there's no operational time for you to get anything done in this game, is my point. Like there's no moment at which you can get any extended task done because you're constantly babysitting your cold meter all the time, 100% of the time in fact. And plus the nighttime, for example, once it's here, you can spend a straight stupid amount of time just like stranded. Just like sitting next to your campfire for like 25 minutes while you wait for the night to end. And those sorts of things are not fun. They don't make the game fun. They make the game worse. And so obviously they are little things that need to be sorted out before they end up like killing the game or causing problems when it releases. These are all things that I would be looking into. Like, I'm trying to get away from a wolf right now. I realize it's behind me, but I'm trying to get down to like the beach so that if bad things happen, we don't have to worry about it. Come on. Down to the beach. The beach should be here somewhere. I don't really feel like we were that far inland. We're not sprinting anymore either, which is all kinds of troublesome. Oh, good. It's a pack of white wolves. Not just one. It's a pack. Just in case, like, one was not enough. They got a lovely little, I don't know, 2-pack here. How dare you bite me, wolf? How dare you? And this is why I only carry around limited stuff with me. Come on. Did I get them both? Oh, I did. Good. Okay. The other one's dead over here. Let's grab his stuff, even though we're freezing to death. Alright, let's bounce back. It looks like they only bit us once. The beach is down this way, so once we get down to here, I've got a campfire down by the beach that we should be able to run down. Definitely feeling a little bit like a walking simulator right now. I may, like, wait until I find something interesting. We'll go out in, like, expedition mode, basically. I'll bring, like, 25 food with us so that we don't have to worry about dying of the cold or anything else. And once we get to right there, we should also be looking for the Dragon Tower, but honestly, the water is the only thing that I care about right now. There it is. So there's down by the beach. If we can make it down to a campfire, I think that'll be a great spot for us to break off the episode. I have a couple down here by the beach. I don't know if that's my spot over there or if that's my spot. Either way, though, my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here for the next episode of Savage Lands. I'll try and come up with something interesting to do in the next episode, some kind of exploration or some kind of fun that we can have before we go any further. I look forward to seeing you all in the future episodes. Take care out there, everybody, and as always, hi-do.